Hello, this is Dr. Andy with one of 365 videos that I am posting about the favorite students that I have taught at UC Davis over the last 36 and a half years. I'm going to tell you today about my favorite graduate student, Alex. When Alex graduated with a PhD in education from UC Davis, she went to another university for one of two jobs. She got her dream job soon thereafter. When we heard that she got this first job, I actually went to my boss and I said, you know, we're about to lose our best graduate student, Alex. Maybe we should hire her. Then she could stay in the Davis area and we could benefit from another instructional designer. I think my boss even checked the budgets. We did not have money budgeted for another instructional designer at that time, nor since. So Alex took that first job and then took another job, which she called her dream job. And she has been doing so well ever since. I wrote to her and I said, Alex, regrettably, none of our instructional designers are of retirement age, and therefore I don't see an opening for you. Then I quickly added, if you don't count me, because even though this was like around 2021 or so, maybe 2020, I was joking about how I, even in my youthful early to mid 50s in 2020, how I was the instructional designer, if that's one of my many roles, who was closest to retirement. Well, fast forward to 2026 when I'm recording this, and I actually have announced my retirement. I will be leaving UC Davis. I will no longer be the academic director of academic technology services. But Alex is so ensconced in her job. She is so successful. She is so, of course, beloved where she is, that I don't think we could convince her to return to UC Davis. Also, we still don't have the money in the budget. So, regrettably, I will never call her again a UC Davis colleague, but I do have many fond memories to call upon when I think of this graduate student, Alex. We were able to get budget to bring on some graduate students to work with the instructional design team and me. And I was so lucky that Alex was assigned to me. Now, as you all know, if you've been watching these videos, my background is in poetry, literature, radio, media, improvisation, creative chaos, troublemaking, ideation. These are my strengths. I don't know if creative chaos is an actual category on those Strength Finder surveys. Ideation is. That's where I scored highest. This means that I can come up with ridiculous, imaginative, outrageous ideas and offer them in meetings. And then people say in those meetings, well, Dr. Andy, that's not very practical, is it? Or that would never work. Or we would never have the budget for that, again with the budget. But still, I enjoyed being the idea man. You know who needs to be paired with an idea person? someone who's practical, someone who can get things done, someone who understands how an agenda works, someone who can function like a project manager. I didn't know this when I met her, but Alex was one such person. And she actually wrote the script of how to work with Dr. Andy at Academic Technology Services. There's this concept in the business world, in the world of any hierarchy, I suppose, of managing up. I'm not going to say that the Peter Principle necessarily came into play with your friend Dr. Andy, but I was not trained as a manager. As a leader, yes, but not as a manager. Even a manager of projects. But this was one of many of Alex's strengths. So she would present the most optimistic, forward-thinking, and cheery representation of whatever project we were working on, and would say, let's make some progress on this. She'd say, okay, I've determined the next 5 steps that we need to take, and I think we can get them all done in the next 35 minutes. Be like, all right, Alex, give me my marching orders. What's the first step? And then we would just march right through them. I'd have to write emails, I'd have to compose memos, I'd have to pick the titles of upcoming events, I'd have to recruit faculty speakers. And although all of this work made me look good and competent and like a powerful leader with a good head on his shoulders, I would say that a strong percentage, more than 50% of my success during this era came from Alex and her cheery, optimistic organizational skills. So of course, I was grateful to her for this. We would put together faculty events. We ran a podcast series for The Wheel, the instructional technology blog. Some of these, like the podcast series, as you may remember, I've got a long history of hosting a radio show for the last 25 years on KDVS. The podcast series was just an idea I would throw out in conversation. Hello. And then Alex would say, let's make it happen. I'll draw up a list of faculty who we might interview and the organization for the script and a series of questions. In fact, this is the season. I'm recording this in August. Let's see what the date is, as if that's relevant. August 13th. Hello, Alex. This is the season of the Summer Institute on Teaching and Technology. During this season, I record interviews of a number of faculty and get them to talk about their teaching innovations. You could visit these videos, if you are so inclined, by going to wheel.ucdavis.edu. There's a checklist that I go through, and even in 2026, the checklist that I use to get ready for, to implement, to record, and to upload these videos, that checklist was created by Alex somewhere around 6 or 7 years ago. Or so my memory suggests. So we continue to depend upon her. And because Alex wrote the script for managing up with Dr. Andy, for working with this chaotic ideation, jolly leader that needs on many occasions to be reined in, because Alex wrote the script for this, others of my colleagues with whom I've worked and who report to me have continued to use that script. So we're grateful for that. Wouldn't you love to have such a person in your organization? Maybe you are such a person. Well, here's what I can tell you. Alex did all this work while working towards her PhD, and I was honored to serve on Alex's PhD doctoral defense. Dissertation defense? It's called different things in different programs. There I was with a bunch of education professors, and we were grilling Alex about this, that, and the other. Now, because I am a writing professor of some 36 and a half years, as I keep saying incessantly in these videos, I was able to advise Alex on the wording, the sculpting, the scripting of her doctoral dissertation. She, of course, did all the work and all the writing and all the data collection and so forth. But I really appreciated the opportunity to get together with her and talk about writing. This is such a pretty part of our South Davis walk. Do you want to see? So I got to serve on Alex's dissertation defense committee. And boy, she did a good job. I think she earned a high pass. She deserved it. And then she got this job. And then I believe it was 2023, maybe October of 2023, that the book that was based on Alex's doctoral dissertation was published. And she sent me a screenshot of the acknowledgement pages of the book. And there I was. I was so honored with other big name professors at UC Davis, such as Dana Ferris and Carl Whithouse, both academic heroes of mine. So I appeared in Alex's book. She also sent me a text when she hosted her first faculty forum. I've been hosting faculty forums of various sorts for almost 30 years. And I loved hearing that Alex, who's an excellent speaker, always better prepared than I was, started hosting her own faculty forums with the faculty at her university. And she would text me when she would come to Davis with her husband and daughter. I think she had some family who lived here or who was enrolled at UC Davis. And I looked through our texts and it's, happy birthday, Dr. Andy. Happy Mother's Day, Alex. Happy Father's Day, Dr. Andy. Back and forth it would go. She also, did I discover this myself? That Alex's daughter, who I think is a 5th grader, created her own Substack filled with stories about fantastical beasts and trees. I became one of her first subscribers. I love these stories, so imaginative, just as you would expect, from the daughter of one of my star students. Well, I'm deeply grateful to Alex for teaching me, and really the others at Academic Technology Services, how to work best with Dr. Andy. How do we get this chimerical poet to focus on his tasks? Alex found the way. She's been a wonderful colleague. I'm so pleased with her success, and I feel so lucky that I got to work with her for a number of formative, crucial, pre-pandemic years. Thank you, Alex. And thanks to all of you for making it to the end of another one of my videos. You know, I'm publishing one of these every day for the 365 days leading up to July 1st, when I will finish my tenure at the University of California, Davis. I hope you'll join me for that journey. You can do that by subscribing. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video of Diary of a Quizmaster. Bye-bye.